At this special time of year, family is more important than ever. And this year, in particular, our family looks back at the birth of a very special young man. Many of us had long anticipated the arrival of this child, the most special royal birth in living memory. As I look back this Christmas time, I recall the many things written about him before he was even with us. Almost from the moment we knew he was on his way, people seemed to know the significance of the so-called royal baby. Readings of hopes, predictions, and speculations on his birth and his life, all before he was even born. One is almost overawed by the columns that have been written and are still to be written about his life. Of course, I am sure that we are all familiar with the next part of the story, not merely for the high profile and wide coverage afforded to his birth, but also for the fact that no matter what one's station or heritage, we each must be born in the most human of ways. We each of us share the same birth and enter this world lowly and humble and helpless. Regardless of the majestic future of this child, he was born in the same way that you and I were born. I am reminded this Christmas time of the carol that so beautifully reads, "The cattle are lowing, the baby awakes." And then it goes on to say, "No crying he makes." Never heard such nonsense in all my life. Though he was born with royal lineage, we would do well to remember that his mother, a commoner, knew what it was like to come from humble beginnings, to suddenly find herself carrying the great weight of expectation, the great weight of a nation's hopes, the great weight of responsibility, and the great weight of a child. Indeed, it is helpful to be reminded that there was little pomp and ceremony surrounding the birth of our future king, rather than be conveyed majestically into a royal birthing suite amidst the well wishes of onlookers. His parents entered almost unnoticed at the back of the building, where the babe was born, far from the crowds, out of sight, and away from the bustle of the city. It was only much later that he was introduced to the world at large.
Here we go.
Of course, news of the arrival of the new heir to the throne was not welcomed by all royals. For many, Christmas marks the end of the year and brings with it opportunities to reflect on what has gone before and what awaits as we approach the promise of a new era. Of course, there is promise and potential in the birth of every child, but the birth of this child brings with it the assurance that millions of lives will be touched by his reign and a certain hope that he will act for the Commonwealth and common future of all who call him king. It is of huge delight to me and my family that so many have already put their hopes and their futures in the hands of this child. One is of course not referring to a child born into our family in a ward at St. Mary's, born to be a king. One is referring to a child born of St. Mary and awarded to us to be our king, as we are reborn into his family. A royal baby, born as we are born, unceremonially and to a modest woman, greatly anticipated, and yet a real surprise. This Christmas time It is the arrival of Jesus Christ that we look back on and remember. It is his birth we celebrate, and his reign to which we entrust our future. Well, who did you think I was on about? I wish you all a very happy